Hello, Steve White, Steve White 39. This is the second video I've made on this. The second one I got too emotional and I had to edit it too much, and I just started easier to just do it again. Wendy Williams. I used to like Wendy Williams. I used to think she was funny. She was bitchy, she was evil, but she was usually funny and usually harmless. One thing that bugged me about her was she always would criticize Madonna, mostly for her age and just some very just nasty comments and just her attitude. And but then the one time that Madonna actually was in the wrong, when she was showing up late to shows and disrespecting her fans, Wendy was on Madonna's side, whereas every other time she would attack her for her age, or who she was dating, or how she looked, and just ridiculous things just for the sake of, well, I need a click, I need attention, I need a hit, I need viewers, so I'll just say something mean about Madonna. It was just sort of that sort of using, her like that. So I didn't find it the most respectable thing, but it didn't really offend me. But the other day, and this happened like a week ago, the other day I saw an article about her making fun of Joaquin Phoenix's Cleft Palate scar, and I just thought, and I didn't see a picture of what she did, I just heard about it. I just read the article and saw a normal picture of her, and I thought, that's just pathetic. I'm not looking at it, I'm not opening it. I have enough problems in my life. I don't need to be upset and pissed off about this bitch. So I didn't look at it. But then I saw today that CHER had gone off on her and made a bunch of comments. So of course I love CHER. I had to see what CHER said. When CHER came to Australia, I was literally front row, center, VIP, and went to 4 shows, which I think all she did in Melbourne. I love her, so I had to see what she said. And because what she did was she was talking about Joaquin, and she tried to compliment him by saying that, I don't know, she was saying she found him attractive, but pointing out all his flaws and just being really, I think, sarcastic. And she literally pulled her lip up and held it for quite a while to mimic having a cleft palate and making fun of that. And it was just so disgusting that she would do that and do it for a prolonged. It's not like she did it for a second and then pulled back, so, oh, I shouldn't have done that, and it was just an impulse she didn't think. She knew what she was doing and she held it. She saw how people were reacting, and she knew it was offensive and wrong, but she did it. And that's the thing that pisses me off. I used to think she just mouthed off and didn't think, and now I realize she deliberately says and does things that she knows will offend people or hurt people because she knows it will get attention. And she just doesn't care about that element. It's like, what can I do to get attention? How can I? And it's just disgusting, because people with cleft palates don't start off as adults like that. It's something you're born with, that you have to deal with as a child. You are different. You have to deal with being teased, and parents have such a hard time with it because you can't educate everyone, and your children are going to encounter people who are going to not understand them, or think they're weird or ugly or something, and insult them or tease them, and they deal with bullying and the self-esteem issues and the operations. It can take up to some of these things, not just cleft palates but craniofacial problems. You can go through multiple surgeries, like 20 surgeries, CHER mentioned, some people, and the idea of a child going through that and a parent having to watch their child go through that, and then for people to make fun of that, and for someone with a platform like Wendy Williams, who should be educated and not be so ignorant and hurtful and thoughtless. But it's not thoughtless, it's deliberate. That's why it makes me angry. She knew what she was doing. It wasn't just a moment of not thinking. And that was one of the parts where I got emotional. I got through that. She later, after being attacked, rightly so, after what she did, she got attacked, and she got criticised, and she apologised to, I think, a sports star whose child had a cleft palate, who was going to surgery that day, and he'd had one as well. And she apologised and said, look, I'm sorry, I'm basically donating to a couple of charities, and I will, for people with cleft palates, and I'm going to ask my audience to do the same. And he accepted her apology because he has some class, he has some forgiveness and some generosity, and I'm really impressed by him. I don't know if I would forgive her, but CHER wasn't forgiving her. So her response, she showed a picture of, and I'm not going to duplicate what she did, but I'll put it in the thumbnail. So she posted a picture of what Wendy did and said, "Does an apology make up for this?" in capital letters, so yelling. And then Cher said, "Apologize. There is no apology for what she did," and laughed about. "I know these children and adults, they go through hell. Their parents go through hell. Fuck her apology. She wants to keep her job. I can't contain my anger." And I'm sure she did apologize just because she was afraid of the backlash, and because people do get fired for things like this. There was an actress, not an actress, someone who had a morning show, and she made a couple of comments about something, and her show was gone. So it's not unthinkable. And then she goes on because she was not having this. "I was going to try to hold my temper, but I'm fucking angry and I can't. In 1985, I made a film called Mask. Through that film, I became involved with children and adults who had craniofacial anomalies. You have no idea what these people go through. 20 plus operations before their teens. Much of the time, they are in pain, afraid, but have hope they will look normal. The heartbreak and fear their parents go through is unbearable. If your mum saw what you did, she'd be ashamed. My mum taught me to love and help people in pain. Who are you? You should be fired." And that's the part where I broke before. I didn't do it this time. Yeah, just the idea that you would know, because I saw that film, just first about Mask, I saw that film when I was a kid, and I think it's a really great film to see when you're young, because it does show you how to look past people's differences. And Rocky he's a real boy who died from his problems, but he was like a hero, and Cher met his mum, and she got a lot of criticism for being such a hard character, but she wanted it to be real and not be Disney. So it's a great film. I think it's important to see when you're a kid. It helps you look at things like that. But yeah, just Wendy, she knew what she was doing. That's what makes me angry. Like, the idea that people are going through this sort of suffering and problems, like 20 operations before you're a teenager, just going through all of that, and the stigma, being teased, just always feeling different. As someone who I had heart problems when I was young, and I had open heart surgery when I was young, and I was very sick, and I wasn't able to play sports, and I know how it feels to be in hospital a lot, and to be sick, and to be separate from people because of that, and not to be able to take part in things. And growing up gay, I was horribly bullied in high school. Like, I was to the point I was nearly one of those kids who nearly killed themselves. So I understand what that is like, and for someone to knowingly make fun of or exploit something like that, someone going through something like that for their own ratings or something, it's just so evil, because it's just nothing else you can say. It's just evil. She knew what she was doing. She doesn't care about offending or making the lives of these people going through these hardships any worse, and she just doesn't care. And I understand why Cher is so angry, and I'm proud of her for going off at her and saying what she did. And I really would be quite happy for Wendy to be fired over this. I think it shows some level of she just shouldn't be on air if she can do that, because she's what can you say? I just think she's disgusting, and she doesn't care if she hurts little children who are like going through pain and suffering from something they were born with that they couldn't help. What kind of person is she? Not the kind of person I want to have a platform like that. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video about that. The first time I tried to make it, I got really upset when I was just sort of thinking about what they were going through, and I sort of just had to redo it because it just didn't look good. But yeah, if I know this is old news, it's like 9 days old or something, but it doesn't change what she did. It doesn't change who she is. That's I mean, when people show, Maya Angelou said, when people show you who you are, believe them. She just showed us who she was, and I don't think we need someone like her with a public forum like that. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share or comment. I just...